Based on recent visitor numbers, some people are wondering if that economic engine has stopped firing on all cylinders.
All right, this one is not good. Not a video I want to make. This is one of those slow burn Vegas stories that actually matters if you live here, work here, or come here a few times a year and know the rhythm of the city. Here's the headline in plain English. Las Vegas quietly lost thousands of jobs at the end of last year, and it lines up directly with fewer people coming to town. Between September and November, the Las Vegas area lost about 4,700 jobs. That number comes straight from the Nevada Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation. These are seasonally adjusted numbers, so this is not just the usual fall slowdown after summer travel. And the losses are not random. They hit right where you would expect in a tourism-driven city. Leisure and hospitality took a big hit.
Very concerned because it's slow. When I drive down the strip going to work in the morning and I barely see visitors out there.
Construction also saw meaningful losses. Those are two pillars of the local economy, especially if you have lived here more than a few years. Now, before anyone panics, the state's chief economist, David Schmidt, described the overall labor market as fairly steady. His exact wording was that this paints a mixed picture. Some jobs are disappearing, but wages in several of those same industries are still rising. That sounds confusing, but we will get to what that actually looks like on the ground. First, let's talk about why this is happening. Southern Nevada runs on visitors, always has. People fly in to eat, drink, gamble, party, see shows, attend conventions, and spend money they probably should not be spending. When that slows down, everything else follows. And last year, visitor numbers did not just dip, they dropped. Through November, about 35.5 million people visited Las Vegas. That sounds like a lot, until you compare it to the year before. That number is down 7.4% compared to the same stretch in 2024. In real numbers, that is more than 2.8 million fewer visitors. That's not a rounding error. That's millions of people who didn't book hotel rooms, didn't sit at blackjack tables, didn't order steak dinners, and didn't buy show tickets. If you've been on the Strip recently, you might have felt it. Midweek crowds thinner than usual, restaurants that used to require reservations suddenly having tables, hotel rates softening outside of major events. None of this happened overnight. It has been creeping in all year. Now, let's talk jobs. The biggest job losses statewide during this period were in leisure and hospitality. That means casino workers, hotel staff, restaurant employees, bartenders, servers, housekeeping, front desk, and back-of-house staff. Construction also saw sustained losses. That matters because construction has been one of the better-paying blue-collar paths in Southern Nevada for decades. Fewer projects breaking ground means fewer crews, fewer subcontractors, fewer hours. Interestingly, other industries did add jobs. Trade, transportation, and utilities posted gains. So this is not a total economic collapse story. It is uneven. Some sectors are shrinking while others are holding up. Now here is the part that throws people off. Wages are still climbing in Nevada. In fact, according to the state economist, the fastest wage gains are happening in the same industries where job counts are declining. So how does that make sense? What that usually means is fewer workers doing more work, often more experienced workers. Employers cut headcount but raise pay to keep the people they really need. It also reflects inflation adjustments catching up in industries that were underpaying for years. That sounds good if you're still employed, but not great if you're looking for work. And that brings us to unemployment. As of September, Las Vegas had an unemployment rate of 5.7%. That made it the third highest among large metro areas in the country. Statewide, Nevada's unemployment rate was 5.3%, also the third highest among all states and Washington, D.C. Now, a quick note here. Metro unemployment rates are not seasonally adjusted, so there's always some fluctuation. Still, being near the top of that list is not where you want to be. This matters because Vegas tends to feel job losses faster than other cities. When tourism slows, the impact is immediate. Shifts get cut, hours get reduced, temporary workers do not get renewed, projects get delayed. You don't always see it in headlines right away, but you feel it in everyday life. Now, let's talk about business confidence, because this is another quiet warning sign. According to UNLV's Center for Business and Economic Research, Southern Nevada business leaders' confidence fell in the fourth quarter to the lowest level since the Great Recession. That is a serious statement. We're not talking about a slight dip. We're talking about confidence levels not seen since the late 2000s financial crisis. The reasons cited were weak tourism and broader economic uncertainty. Things like high interest rates, expensive travel, credit card debt, and people pulling back on discretionary spending. Vegas lives on discretionary spending. When families decide to skip a vacation, when conventions downsize, when companies delay trips, when people choose a cheaper destination or just stay home. Vegas feels it first. Now, let's be clear about something. Vegas has been through far worse before. We've survived recessions, pandemics, and housing crashes. But this is a reset moment. Visitor numbers are down. Jobs are down in key sectors. Business confidence is shaky. Wages are rising unevenly. Construction is slowing. These things together tell a story of caution. If you work in hospitality, you may already know someone who lost hours or a position. If you work in construction, you may have noticed projects stalling. If you run a small business tied to tourism, you might be watching foot traffic closely. And if you're someone who loves coming to Vegas, you might actually notice some upside. Better hotel deals, easier restaurant reservations, less packed casino floors midweek. But some say it's not enough. People are fed up with the prices. Rooms that are still high, outrageous food and bev pricing, and being nickel and dimed for literally everything. Now, I want to acknowledge something important here. The exact path forward is unclear. The data shows a mixed picture. Some sectors are stabilizing, others are shrinking. There's no single switch that flips and fixes it. A lot depends on travel demand in the coming year, the economy nationally, interest rates, and how much consumers are willing to spend on entertainment and travel. Vegas does not need record numbers to survive. It needs consistent numbers. So here's the big question I want to leave you with. If you live in Las Vegas, are you feeling this yet in your own job or industry? Fewer hours, fewer shifts, slower business, or more competition for work? And if you visit Vegas somewhat regularly, have you noticed the city feeling a little quieter than usual outside of big weekends? Let me know in the comments, because these on-the-ground experiences often tell the story before the data catches up. If you want more straight talk about what is actually happening in Las Vegas, hit subscribe.